Hello and good afternoon to all. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. Chennai, of course, is a very special city. Many of you may know that Titan Company is actually a joint venture between the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, TIDCO, and the Tatas. And of course, it is publicly listed, so widely traded stock. So in many ways, the connection of Titan Company to Tamil Nadu and to Chennai are quite strong. And I'm very happy today to be here in this occasion. Of course, Titan is a part of the Retailers Association of India, and I think the RAI has done stellar work in many years, and I think particularly in the last 2 years when COVID struck, there was a lot of work that the RAI did in terms of the retail industry in India, and kudos to them for that. And so when they invited me for this talk, my first question was, this is a special family business edition. And I have no background at all in family business. I've always been a professional working in a corporate. So is this something that I should be doing? And they were like, no, you come and, you give your perspective. And I was later thinking that maybe that's a unique perspective that many of the family businesses who are in the room can actually use maybe to their advantage. So what I will speak about, and I don't have a deck, I realize when I put up a deck, everyone is looking at the picture or the text, and I will just use the opportunity to share my thoughts. So what I'm going to talk about today is really retailing for the next generation. A lot of family businesses which are in retailing are currently in the throes of transition. Titan Company's Watches and Wearables division, we have two very strong on-ground channels. One is our exclusive brand outlets like the Titan World stores, the Fast Track stores, etc. And we also sell in about 7,000 to 8,000 multi-brand outlets. And our own experience about family businesses has actually been through these two channels. We have a lot of multi-brand retailers, and we used to call them dealers, watch dealers. We used to call them multi-brand outlets or watch dealers, and now we have decided about a year back to call them multi-brand retailers, because when you're calling a watch store owner a dealer, in that very term, you are saying that they're dealing, they're buying and they're selling. But actually, that is not doing justice to the work they do, which is that they retail, that there are customers and they actually serve customers. So we find that this kind of transition between the older generation and the newer generation is happening in the businesses, in the family businesses, simultaneously as it is happening with customers. I think in the previous two sessions that I had the opportunity to listen to the speakers, they were talking about D2C, about digital, about new payment options, and this is really the new world. And I find that a lot of our multi-brand dealer partners, as well as our franchisee partners, there is an older generation that started 30, 40, 50, sometimes maybe much more years back, and they've had a business, and now either the new generation has come in into the business, or because there is a new generation of customers, they are all in the middle of a big transformation. So picking on this thought, I thought of 4 big things, big pillars or big dimensions of any retail business, that there is an old way of doing things and there is a new way of doing things, and actually at this point, both are coexisting. It's still the old is 80% of what we were doing, and that has to, that will remain. And then there is a new way of doing business that has now come in, and that is also kind of changing the way the business was being done. So there are 4 dimensions of any retail business. The first is location and look and feel. And when you look at the physical way of retailing, there is location, which we know, like that famous saying that the success criteria for any retail business, there are only 3 success criteria, and they are location, location, and location. That's the mantra. And there is also the look and feel. I find that a lot of um, progressive retailers have understood that the kind of location they were in, typically located in the old bazaar or the old market where either the wholesale market was there, but those are more crowded places, not enough parking, a lot of traffic, etc. And now there are new neighborhoods coming up in terms of catchments, which are slightly outside the main center of the city. It could be a big town, it could be a small town. And it is important that as family businesses, retailers are open to the idea of having those new branches or new stores in the newer catchments, which are emerging. So that's location. The second is look and feel. And again, there was a time when, retailers used to renovate the stores, if at all, once in 10 years. But today, that is just not good enough. As it is, we are all facing the e-commerce, juggernaut. There is a very big play going on online, and our customers, including people like us, we also do a lot of shopping online, right? It's so convenient. So there has to be a very good look and feel to the store. And this is a very big area. In our own company, in the watches and wearables division, this is one of the big things that is driving growth for us now, is we have undergone a tremendous renovation and a complete adoption of a new look. So earlier our stores, and still there are many stores called World of Titan. Now as they're getting renovated, they're becoming Titan World stores. And these are more premium looking, more modern looking, and more, I would say, younger looking. So this kind of investment in the look and feel in the physical store is very important in today's day and age to keep the customer coming in. Similar transformation is also going on in the multi-brand retailers. A lot of multi-brand retailers understand the need for it, but they always get little, I would say, apprehensive because of the investment and also because of the last 2 years of the pandemic and the impact it had on business. A lot of people are a little afraid that we have already not made profits, made losses. Is this a good time? There is no better time. This is the best time to put up a better look and feel, better signage, modernize your retail outlets. So that's on the physical side. But location and look and feel also are about your online presence. And I know there are some businesses which are big enough to have their own websites, maybe even their own apps. But for businesses who are probably not online, not selling online, but yet important things like actually having your own GMB, which is your Google My Business account, and making sure that you are in your neighborhood coming up. For example, I'm just giving an example because that example is most obvious to me. If you are having a watch multi-brand retail chain and you have stores in 5 places in Chennai, you don't need to advertise in the Hindu. I mean, you can, but you can actually do geo-targeting in the specific locations that you are, and spend some money in getting the eyeballs of that particular neighborhood to say that this is important, this is who we are, these are our ratings and reviews. So marketing today is not just about big ads. It's about ratings and reviews. Personally, I don't buy anything above maybe 1,000 rupees, which I first don't check up online, and I check the ratings and reviews. In fact, I would say that I do the opposite of what was being told earlier by the innovative person, that I look at the option online, I look at the ratings and reviews. Anything which is below 4, I will not touch. Then I actually go and really search for the bad reviews, because I want to see if I'm buying something, whether it is online or on ground, what have other people had to say about it. And so these are very important. I think some people understand it more. Some people are like, what do ratings and reviews have to do with whatever I'm doing? They do. Believe me, all Indians. Today, Indians are probably the most digitally enabled consumer cohort in the world. I think the kind of stack that we have between UPI, Aadhaar, everything is linked, everything is online. I mean, when we talk to people in the US or Europe about how to buy 3 bananas, you can pay by, UPI, Google Pay, or Paytm. They don't do it. They're still taking out cash. Whereas here, 3 bananas, everybody is paying like that, correct? So in that kind of scenario, having your positive location and look and feel of your physical business online is equally important. So that was my first point on location and look and feel, whether it is online or whether it is on ground. Use resources and investments in making it really contemporary, modern, and up to date. The second point is about customer. And customer is the value chain of customer I'm dividing into 3 parts: customer acquisition, customer experience, and customer retention, customer loyalty, customer recommendations. So there are 3 parts to it, right? First, you have to acquire the customer, and some of the things I talked about in the earlier section on location and look and feel, which is how do you attract those customers. That is a very big part of it. The second point is about customer experience. Now, and the third part is about customer relationship management. So we all know, the word CRM stands for customer relationship management. I think we think of it as some tech. There is a technology behind it, but the basic principle behind CRM has existed in our businesses, in family businesses, small businesses, for decades. If you have a store, any kind of store or business, and you know that Mr. Ramanathan or Mrs. Gupta likes XYZ, that means that CRM software is in the head of the entrepreneur, of the proprietor. The reality is that you can't manage it like that anymore. And especially as businesses scale, you will need a database, you will need the technology, you will need the analytics, you will need the campaign tools, because it is impossible to scale at that level. Having said that, in essence, it's the same thing. If today, as a family business owner, retailer, if you know that Mr. Ramanathan's son is, working in San Francisco and he's going to come in this December, and you are saying, sir, why don't you also look at this? Your son will enjoy this. That is the highest level of CRM. So if anybody is telling you that CRM is sitting in a black box of software, it isn't. It is only an enabler. The real customer relationship management has been with us all these years. And the idea is, how do we scale it? How do we digitize it? How do we automate it so that it is more effective? The customer life cycle, this whole journey, is again something that we need to contemporize. And the use of technology is very useful in making sure, whether it is customer acquisition, whether it's a customer experience, or the customer relationship or retention, we are using new age tools to actually make this better. So one example that I'd like to give here, and again I'm speaking from our own experience of our multi-brand retailers, the watch dealer community. So we are selling to our multi-brand retailers. They are buying from many other companies, many other watch companies. Their customers are their customers. We are not interested in their customers. We don't have the database, and we shouldn't. But what we realized is, and I was just giving that example of Mr. Ramanathan, that they still are writing down in some ledger kind of file, and then If the proprietor is not there, then maybe the manager sitting doesn't quite remember, and a lot of it is just, dissipating. It is just becoming fragmented. So we have enabled a CRM module where the base is something that our company, Titan Company, has invested, and each of the multi-brand retailers that have signed up, they can put their database on top of it with very strict walls. So there's no way we can find out the details of their data, but they are able to manage that CRM. So this has been enabled, and now I think we have about 35 or 40 retailers who have signed up, and they are using this package to actually send out loyalty points, send out birthday, anniversary, discounts, send out wishes during different festivals, send out new launches, just the way big companies do. But earlier they didn't have the software and they didn't know how to do it. So I think it is also important for bigger companies to enable this for the overall, development of this category. So, I've had people tell me, but why are you doing this? It is not even your database. It is not coming. Suppose they use the database for sending out messages for some competitor brand. And my point is, let them, please, because it will only lead to growth of the category, and it will lead to a better business for them, which is good for us. It's very important for us that all the watch multi-brand retailers continue to do well. So this is another part, which is the customer, the whole customer journey, how do we actually deal with customers? The third point is actually merchandising. And merchandising is, again, a very interesting part of, and a very crucial part. It's a key success factor of any retail business. It's the elusive, answer that everyone is asking the question, what is the right stock? It's very easy to say, you should have the right stock in the right time, at the right place, in the right quantity. But how? Sometimes you are overstocking, sometimes you are sold out, then there is opportunity loss, sometimes you're liquidating because you've overbought. How does one manage this? At a fundamental level, the principle is that of replenishment, that you have a system where you have enough, you have a buffer, and anything that gets sold gets replenished up to the buffer level. Having said that, there is still things like new products. If you are introducing new products, you have to take a bet. You don't know. It may be a big hit. It may not be, in which case you'll be stuck with a lot of stock and you'll be discounting, and that your profit will go down. Within this, the idea, again, of using tools and technology to make this more automated. So, again, for Titan, of course, with our own EBOs, whether they're company stores or franchisee stores, we've been using this for a decade, which is a system where this is automated, that you set the buffer level, and then as things get sold out, they get replenished up to the buffer level. Now, we are also have invited our multi-brand retailers, who are small businesses, to do this. Obviously, for that, they have to tell us how much they have sold of which SKU, and that is what goes up. Whatever gets sold, the stock level goes up to the buffer level. So, and this is an example. There may be many different ways in which merchandising is modernized, automated, use of tools and technology to make that better. But I think again, a lot of the small family businesses actually use what I would call intuitive intelligence on this. But as they scale, the use of tools and technology becomes very important. And the fourth dimension, so I've covered the first dimension, which is location and look and feel. The second dimension, which is the entire customer journey. The third dimension, which is merchandising. And the fourth dimension is actually profitability. The first three add up to a turnover, a revenue. And the fourth one is your cost management, margin management, because that is what finally, if the fourth one, you can do all of the above, but if you're not really keeping an eye out on the profit, then you could have a good growth business, could have all of the other things working, but still not making the kind of profit you want. So in profit management, there are two parts to it. One is the margin management, which is really how much percentage margin. And the second part is the inventory. And actually the third part is costs, overhead costs. And again, I would say, I mean, I know, and I go back to what I was telling, the RAI people, that I don't know whether anything that I say will be, how useful it will be in a room full of people who run their family businesses, because finally, there is no greater skin in the game than if it is your own business, right? For that, I think the innate business acumen of Indian business people is superb, 100%. And the one person, I actually had attended this seminar by Ram Charan, who's a very big business guru. And he kind of mentors and consults for the biggest companies and the best CEOs of the world. And he said, I basically learned from the fruit vendor that finally business profitability is, if you have so many bananas, how much inventory you're keeping, what is your rotation, what is the margin you're making per day, and how much cash you make. It is about cash flows. So a lot of people spend too much time on the P&L, but actually it is about cash flow. It's about stock. It's about where your money is getting, is it rotating fast enough? So like I said, it would be very naive and foolish of me to preach to this audience. Everybody in this audience has been running their own business very successfully, and you all know you have that innate business acumen and business savvy. The only point that I would leave you with is, as your businesses scale, again, there is use of tools, of technology, of some more formal way of really using all of the business metrics and analyzing it and taking decisions. We realize that there are many, for example, even our watch multi-brand dealers, we know that many of them continue, even till date, and they have like crores worth of business, but they don't have any formal, accounting package they have, but after that they don't use any kind of financial analysis to find out, to zero in where their money is actually getting deployed, what is actually soaking up their cash, how can they release it, how can they invest back into the business. Because many of the other things that I talked about, whether it is location, better locations, whether it is upgradation of the look and feel, whether it is customer relationship, customer acquisition, or even merchandising management tools, all of this will require money. So you will need to release something in order to plow back into the business and upgrade the business and be ready for the next generation. Ready for the next generation of consumers and the next generation of the business. So that's all from my side in terms of talking about retailing for the next generation. Like I said, it was a very interesting experience for me also to put this together for this unique group of people. Salute each and every one of you who've done so well in carving out your businesses and taking your family business to this level, and best wishes for taking it to the next generation. Thank you very much.